goes. So what we're going to do today is drive from Karrinyup Road to Great Eastern Highway, to almost along Great Eastern Highway, and then finishing up in Midland near the exit, well not the exit but the Great Eastern Highway bypass, where you can continue on to go to Kalgoorlie, or you basically exit to go to Midland, which is one of the last metro areas, we'd like to call it, of Perth. So we're just going to turn on to Cedric Street here, and then it'll take us down to the freeway. Now this is also another bit of an experiment, because this is the first time I've been along this bit of the road since they've changed the route, so it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. You know, the classic Perth, beautiful Perth morning, tiny bit of cloud out there on the eastern horizon, so I'm looking east at the moment, and I can't see, looking around, I can't see a bit of cloud anywhere else. So another magic day. I think they're talking about a tops of about, or definitely in the low 20s, close to 20 degrees. So nice. It's supposed to warm up in the next couple of days, getting up to 31 degrees in a couple of days time, and then cooling off again. So nice time of the year, beautiful weather to be driving in, and let's see how everything all hangs together. Now over here I believe I've got to use the right hand lane to turn left. I know that makes does not make sense, and a little bit weird, but that's how road planners seem to work. So fair bit of, I think they're building a new freeway exit overpass system here, and so this is why there's a lot of roadworks, which also means more congestion, more heavy vehicles moving about, as you can see up front, which looks like a dozer moving along. Do a bit of a play around with the air conditioner level in the car, with a blower in the car, just to see if we can reduce the amount of background noise. I don't know if that's going to work. I guess I'll only really find out when I listen to this video for the first time. But that was just to basically keep the camera on the dash cool, because it's especially when we're driving either eastwards or westwards, there's a lot of sunlight shining on the camera, and it can get hot. So, and I've had once the camera turn off because it was too hot. So this is all the new road. Is this going to be permanent, or is this just a temporary thing? Don't know. Put a lot of effort in for a temporary road, but we'll see how it goes. Sort of travelling north to turn to go south. Feels a bit weird when you know the layout of the area, but here we do the big turn. There's the Mitchell Freeway down there. Looks like it's flowing lovely this morning, which is great. So heading south now along the Mitchell Freeway, coming up towards Hutton Street. Now this is a well-known choke point on the freeway. So we'll see how we go. Doesn't help when they've closed the whole lane off. Not quite sure what the reason for the closing off the lane is, but bloody hell. Some people are clowns. Right, clowns, like this idiot with a trailer. So I was saying about a well-known choke point. Once we get past Hutton Street, traffic generally starts to flow again well. So the reason I don't normally come this way, the reason I'm going this way is obviously just to, I need to get to Great Eastern Highway because today the price of fuel has basically skyrocketed. And so there is always cheap fuel and I need to get cheap fuel. I'm running on just under a quarter of tank at the moment. Hoping to go away on the weekend, depending if the ducks can be arranged in line. But Great Eastern Highway has cheap fuel, generally considerably cheaper fuel. So from the service station near where I live to where I can get the cheaper fuel, sometimes there can be up to 35 to 40 cents a litre per litre difference. So when you're putting in 80 litres of fuel into a vehicle, like I drive a four-wheel drive, 80 times 40 cents, that's nearly, that is $32. So sizable chunk of dosh that I'd rather have in my pocket than give to some oil company who's making obscene profits at the moment. The reason this is a bit of a choke point here, I don't know if you can start to see on the left hand side, there's a vehicle on-ramp coming down so there's a lot of vehicles up there. They're trying to merge into this bit of the freeway, so everything's slowing down to let them in. Coming up on a bridge that, you can see the train line down on the right hand side that runs down the middle of the freeway. Good idea to some extent. They didn't have to grab land off people's houses or something to build that. And no one really wants a train line next to them. So let's shove it down the middle of the freeway, which is quite a good idea. Does limit the expansion abilities of the freeway though. They can't go and actually put another lane on or anything like that. So we're on a bridge, crossing this bridge now. This is a bridge that crosses over Scarborough Beach Road, which is a sort of quite a significant arterial road in the northern suburbs. As we slide down the hill on the other side of the bridge, we'll be coming up to Power Street, and then we'll be exiting this freeway in the next, I don't know, couple of kilometres, and going through the Graham Farmer Tunnel, or as has been called in the press, the polypup. So, which is one of the, if not the only road tunnel in Perth that I know of. I mean, there's a couple of underpasses and things like that, but I don't think that classifies or qualifies, I think is the correct word, qualifies as a tunnel. But this one is a definite tunnel. There's actually buildings on top of the tunnel. They made it by digging a trench basically through the ground, laying the road, putting a roof on top of the trench and covering it back over. I guess that's a way to make a tunnel. Tunnels don't have to mean, you know, explosives and digging horizontal holes through the ground. If you can dig it from the top, it's probably way cheaper. And considering this was dug predominantly through river sand, because most of the Perth coastal plain is just river sand and goes down a long way. I've heard stories of going down over 100 meters in places before you reach the bedrock. So, you know, you can dig, well, even digging in my own backyard's a bit like digging a hole on the beach. Okay? You dig down 30-40 centimeters and you've got a hole about 1.5 meters wide because the sides keep caving in. I think another merge lane here coming in from Power Street. I don't know if any of these cars want to come across, none of them indicating, and now this person decides to indicate. That is the exit to Vincent Street, out into Leederville, and we're now rapidly approaching the CBD. we stay in this lane, we'll slowly bear off to the left-hand side, which will take us to East Perth and the Graham Farmer Tunnel. If we stay in the other lanes, it'll take us past what's called through the Narrows and down to South Como, South Perth, and heading south of Perth. So now we're just spinning off here. So we're in the tunnel now. So there's two segments, a eastbound segment and a westbound segment. So we're obviously in the eastbound segment. Hopefully we're picking up enough. It's pretty dark in here. So if you don't see anything, do apologise. We'll pop out in the sunlight in a short bit. I do have the filter on the camera, which is probably making it even darker than it's supposed to be. I even had to take my sunglasses off at the moment just to see where I'm going. So it is pretty dark. But I don't know if you can see up ahead, we've got the light coming through again of the end of the tunnel. And we're about to, the next probably 5 to 10 seconds, about to burst out into the sunlight. There we go. Sunglasses back on again. So basically this is the other, at this end of the tunnel, it's called East Perth. And a little bit beyond here, we will cross a bridge. I think it's, I'm trying to remember exactly where it is. I think it's pretty much, yeah, where the big signs are. Yeah, I think we're right here. There's a sign on the left-hand side saying Wyndham Bridge. It's the Swan River. Don't know if you can see out the side, but we can actually see the Swan River. The river looks fantastic today. Nice and blue. I guess it's reflecting a lot of the colours out of the sky. Ascot race course on the that's not Ascot, that's mine's gone blank. One of the race courses. It's not a race course, it's Belmont Park. And on the left hand side, right hand side, it is Optus Stadium. There's a police speed camera. Looks like a bit like a machine gun position. Should be safe going to that point. It wasn't speeding. Okay, here's the exit to Great Eastern Highway. And we're just going to exit here. So now we're heading east along Great Eastern Highway. If you stay on this road non-stop, it'll finally terminate as Hannon Street in Kalgoorlie. Of course, you would have passed through numerous little towns along the way. Well-known gold prospecting towns like Southern Cross, Coolgardie and Kalgoorlie, all situated along this road. Way up front, maybe not, I can't see it now, it's got below the trees. You can actually start to see the Perth Hills, which run north-south from way down south of Western Australia to almost Geraldton. There's a significant topographic change between the flat coastal plains, the hills country, and then on top of that it's relatively flat until, well, it's probably just about the other side of the continent. It does not mean there's no other hills outside of these hills, but this is pretty flat on top of that. Nice big granite range of hills. With plenty of people having their houses up there in the hills. Some national parks, there's some nature reserves up there, and it's a great place to have a house where you can actually look down over the coastal plain, look down over Perth, over the ocean, and some places can even see out as far as Rottnest Island. Going through the suburb of Ascot at the moment. It's one of the suburbs on the southern side of the river that and butts up right up against the river. Some fairly flash houses down on the left hand side. Now I'm not far from where I want to get the fuel from, so this first gap I'm going to sort of start working my way across into the left hand lane. Oh, there's a chance here. So this 7-Eleven, for example, unleaded's $1.99 and diesel is $2.35. So I'm looking for, there's a Vibe. And it usually has the good prices. And we'll see how that goes. How much fuel I've got at the moment? Oh, plenty. There's Ampol's $2.37 for diesel. So as you can see, it's horribleness. I think I might actually give the Vibe a miss and go to the next service station beyond that. It was one called Atlas, and see how they go with prices. $2.38 there at the BP. It's amazing, isn't it, when you think about it? Service stations so close together, and yet different prices from, you know, 100, 200 meters apart. So it can't be based purely on a cost price plus a bit. It's probably cost price plus quite a variable bit. And how much profit do you want to make? And how much profit gouging you think your customers can bear before they go somewhere else. 239 on that side of the road. So progressively it's got more expensive as we've gone along. It's been gone from 236 or 237 to 239. So here is the VARB I was telling you about. So under that is 163 and diesel is 213. So straight away that's 20 cents a litre cheaper at this service station than the BP back 300 metres. I'm going to swap lanes here. I don't want to be stuck in that one. I'm coming up on the Tonkin Highway intersection. So a lot of vehicles on the left-hand lane will be turning off on the Tonkin Highway, and so it can become a little bit of a congestion point. Though not always, but sometimes. Huge amount of work been done here at this intersection, or this. Well, this Great Eastern Highway Bridge is an old bridge, and so they've been fixing the highway which we're crossing over, the Tonkin Highway, and that's looking pretty specky. And I guess the next round of things is to start fixing this bridge, so it can handle a bit more traffic. I guess one thing that would be quite good would be to get rid of this traffic light. I'm not even sure why we need a traffic light here, to tell you the truth. Usually there's always some clown who wants to turn right, and so the right-hand lane blocks, but we'll cover our bases and travel this side. So $2.19 at that Shell, so that's significantly better. And the 235s and whatever we've been seeing, 239. Let's probably find the what's the name, the Atlas service station. I haven't seen Atlas anywhere else, but they've got a pretty impressive setup, and they do seem to be consistently a good price. Always one of the cheapest places in the metro area to get diesel. Costco always used to be the cheapest place to go and be considerably cheaper than anywhere else, but they now have to sort of work for their position as the cheapest fuel provider. There's quite a few others around that are vying for it. So once we're through this traffic lights, and am I going to turn here? Yes, I think I will turn here. The diesel here is 213.9. Very nice. Hope I can get in there. What I'm going to do is, as they say in the classics, chuck a Huey. Didn't even know these houses even existed here. How do I get in here? Gonna have to go through the other way. Hello, that's an interesting one. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. Just filled up the car, put 75 litres in, cost $164.03. Way too much money. But, them's the price of fuel these days. So, but still better than paying $2.39 a litre. So that would have been close to 20 cents a litre extra, close to 80, so it would have been almost $16 extra I would have paid if I went to one of the other places just down the road. So, worth the trip. Plus you guys get a chance to see what Great Eastern Highway looks like. Waiting. Still green lights for them. I like killing time waiting at traffic lights. There's a novel load. There we go. Just at the bend here is the Great Eastern Highway bypass. This is a section of the road that was built to bypass Midland to keep trucks and vehicles travelling east without having to go through a built-up residential area. So we're exiting the road here to go up to Guildford, then on to Midland. This is in the past where all the heavy vehicles used to have to come along this road. And so it would make life a lot more enjoyable for these houses along the side, plus quicker for the traffic to get out of Perth going by the Great Eastern Highway bypass. If we're not in it already, we're very close to entering the suburb of Guildford, or as sometimes it's called these days, the city of Guildford. Oh, there's the sign there on the right hand side, a bit faded, but you can see it. So this is Guildford. Guildford's one of those, well, I think it's the oldest settled part of Perth. You know, first settled by Europeans in the 1820s, I think. So I've been here a very, very long time. So nearly 200 years. And so then the city slowly spread down towards the coast. I believe they're settled up here because of the nice countryside. Can't blame them, it's a nice part of the world. The river, good soils, versus most of other parts of Perth. It's pretty much sandy. This has got some nice soils, so it's good agricultural land. And also not far from here, they found it was really good for growing grapes as well. So a good place to, if you were going to start a settlement, this is where you would put it. Okay, school zones. Max speed 40 k's an hour. Especially around these primary schools, you have to watch out for kids that just run out. Sometimes it's not the primary school kids themselves, but the younger siblings of the primary school kids. They're the ones that, you know, so excited to see big brother going off to school that they just run, and you have to be careful of that. Now we're turning on to James Street. James Street will take us to Guildford Road, and Guildford Road will then take us into Midland. There's a train through the level crossing. We'll go until the lights stop flashing red. Okay. Oops, suppose it would have been handy to stop at a red light, but not quite sure why. It looks like my camera turned off for some reason. I don't think it got too hot or anything. It's pretty warm. I don't know how much video footage I've lost. So we're now basically in Midland now, and I'm going to exit left onto Wwstern Road. And continue along Wwstern Road until I get to Great Northern Highway. Okay, here's Great Northern Highway. So we'll cross over Great Northern Highway, and that's pretty much the end of the trip. Sky sure is bright outside. I'm glad I got the sunglasses on. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the trip. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I didn't lose too much video footage, and see you on the next one.